Everybody good? All right. I'm usually not an opening statement guy, but today obviously a little different. First off, I just want to give my appreciation and gratitude to Coach Houston. He took a chance on me. First time play caller, coordinator, and I owe him a lot. He's a great coach. Even better person. Cared for me and my family, and I feel a lot of responsibility as every coach and player does in there. That kind of felt like we let them down a little bit, and that's frustrating. It's disappointing, and you feel for it because of just who he is. And if you want to know, who Coach Houston is as a coach, all you got to do is look at and see how our players responded when they found out the other day. And that'll tell you what kind of man he is and how much respect that he has from the people in this building. It's unfortunate. It's a tough situation, but the circumstances have changed, but the mission hasn't. We came here to coach our players and to serve our players, and that does not change. From a staff standpoint, from a coach's standpoint, we do this for a living. We'll be coaching, whether it's here or somewhere else, a year from now. But these players only get one shot to play, and it's our job to make sure. We got 5 guaranteed left, and I promise you we're going to fight like hell to make sure they get a 6th one. Like I said, it's tough, but like I said, our main focus is these players. They're the most important people in the building right now, and we're going to take care of them. So that'll open up the questions.
It seems like even given the circumstances, the energy has been good, especially with the offense too. So can you speak to that and how the guys have responded on the field?
Yeah, it's funny. You don't really grow until you face adversity, and whatever it is, whether it's life, the game of football, and in this game you're going to face a lot of adversity, and these type of things, they have a way of bringing people together. And they can easily tear people apart, but that just speaks to, we talk about all the time just how great our players are as people and how much they care. And this is just another example. And like I said, it was an unfortunate deal the other day, but ever since then, our guys they've come together, and it's been really cool to see.
You mentioned how they took that news when they learned that Coach Houston was no longer going to be the head coach. Can you just tell us a bit more about just their reaction and how that kind of showed up on the how
It's you just have a million different thoughts go through your head, and you think of that as a coach, and so you can only imagine what 18, 19, 20-year-old kid is thinking. Most of them, probably a big reason they came to East Carolina was for Coach Houston, and just the coach that he is, the person that he is. And when you find out that he's no longer going to be your head coach, that's a weird feeling. And so our guys, for them, it was you go through a million emotions in about a 24-hour span. You're probably pissed off a little bit. You're confused. You're angry. But like I said, once they kind of got over that initial shock, it was a focus like, okay, we got a lot of football left to play. Let's go see what we can do with this.
As a first-year coordinator, obviously you're trying to build your offense, everything kind of halfway through. The timing from your perspective, and then how much you feel like you guys still have to prove this second half of the year?
That's it's not how I drew it up, obviously. But I've told. Sunday afternoon, I told our players this, without a doubt, I was standing in the right room. And there wasn't one point, hasn't been one point in the last 48, 72 hours where I thought, man, I wish I was somewhere else. This is where I want to be, and this is where I wanted to be, and still feel that way. And so this place is really, really special, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. And like I said, the main focus is these players, because I feel like we've improved. I really do. Are we to the standard that I have for where I wanted us to be? No, we're not. But we've gotten better and better. And like I said, we still have 5 games where we can continue to improve. And, my hope is we can kind of carry how it ended versus Army. We can carry it in this next game and take some of the momentum that I felt like we built, because that was, our last 4 or 5 drives. That is what it's supposed to look like. And that's the level of execution that we're looking for. So hopefully we can continue with that.
I was going to ask you, Saturday, one of those games where you had 5 or 6 quarters of the drive kind of going. So
No doubt.
how do you kind of go about that and get it going early this Saturday?
Yeah, and it's really it's to your point. We show the guys the plays that we made there in the second half. They were the same plays that were there to be made in the first half. We're a couple drop balls, putting a ball in a better spot on a third down from converting there in those first two drives. Missing a deep ball to Anthony there on the second drive. But those are the same plays that, we made in the second half versus not making them in the first half. And so we've got to find a way and be intentional and making sure that we're getting the ball in specific people's hands early that we know are going to keep us in rhythm and keep us on schedule. But that's the thing, is just making sure they understand, like, the plays were there, and we knew that going in. We knew if we got the ball in space, good things were going to happen for us, and so we got to just figure out a way. And a lot of times it's not scheme, it's people. Just getting it in the right people's hands early in the game and helps get everybody else into the flow of the game.
What do you think Caton did better in that second half? Now, you said overall it was better, but Caton specifically?
There's probably a couple plays that nobody really sees or nobody has even thought about or looked at since that game. But two of the most important plays he made there in the second half were balls that he checked down. A check down that got us a first down, and then a check down to Rajay on kind of a shot play that ended up Rajay made a guy miss, ended up being an explosive play. And those are the type of things where like, okay, you're seeing growth, you're seeing decision making, you're seeing those types of things. And I thought he handled the adversity well. Obviously the game did not start how we wanted it, but I thought from that standpoint, we gave the guys two choices at halftime. You can either lay down and these guys will embarrass you, or you can go out there and keep fighting. And I knew what our guys would do, and I'm glad that they did that, because you got to see a flash of really what they can do and what we should be.
The interim situation, the pressure, kind of off you guys. Have you talked with Blake just about going and playing free and aggressive, all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, you can kind of sense just a sense of relief throughout the building. Mostly from our players, because they feel it. They unfortunately, in today's world, they're on social media. They read everything, they see everything. As much as you try and tell them to block that stuff out. But there is a sense of relief, but it's also, like you said, it's brought these guys together, it's brought us together as a staff, and it's like, it's us, it's about us in this building. And so we're playing with house money. There ain't no reason not to cut it loose, and, we both, Blake and I, kind of the way that, we run each side of the ball is an aggressive style, and, there's no reason that we shouldn't be as aggressive as we normally are, even more aggressive than normal.
Obviously just a few days, but how do you think Blake has done just trying to, keep this thing together?
He's a stud. Blake Harrell is a stud. And, I've been fortunate in my career to be around a lot of different people and places. And, you never want to correct the head coach. But I was quick on Sunday to correct Blake when he said in a staff meeting that, he wasn't necessarily prepared or ready for this. And that's not true at all. He is ready for this, and it ain't the circumstance he wants to be doing this, but he is ready for this, and I think he's done a great job of just injecting energy, injecting confidence into our players, into our staff, and he's, like I said, he's done a great job, and I'm excited. I'm excited for him for the opportunity because he's earned it. And I know that not that we haven't been doing it the last 6-7 weeks, but everybody in this building is going to fight like hell for Blake Harrell and make sure that we're doing everything we can, like I said, to get our kids a chance at a 6 game, go get us in a bowl game, and go let these guys experience that. Because, had our guys in our offensive unit meeting this morning, asked them, raise their hand if they've ever played in a bowl game, and there's like 6 guys. That's it. And so that was, a shot in the arm to me, just realizing, like, it's not as normal or, been around guys, because all the new guys that you think. And so it gives you something to play for, no question.
Can you give us an update on Brock Spalding?
We'll see. I know he's got a couple of doctor appointments coming up this week.
Look pretty bad.
Yeah, so we'll see and hope for the best. But, we'll see what comes back from that stuff, and hopefully no more.
Coach, obviously Blake has a lot more on his plate this week. Is there anything specifically as the offensive coordinator that you're trying to, pick up some extra slack or responsibility this week leading into the game?
Yep. I mean, the biggest thing is just supporting Blake. You know, that's the biggest thing, and making sure he knows that whatever he needs from me, whatever he needs from us offensively, we want to do it, and we're going to do it. You know, as far as picking up different responsibilities, obviously he and I will have to communicate more, just as far as, you know, in-game stuff. You know, the analytics side of things, going for it on fourth down. Hey, are we kicking? We going? You know, those are conversations and things that he and I are going to have later this week, and figure out, you know, just the dynamics and how we want to approach things and do things. But from a day-to-day standpoint, you know, he's got his plate full. You know, he's having to juggle a lot of different things. So for me, you know, I feel like my job is, you know, is do a great job, make sure we score points, and then supporting Blake however best we can.
Obviously, Coach Shankweiler took a not really with the football team role, but he's kind of stepping back into that this week. How have you got to know him, and what role will he got to take on this week?
No, it's nice, especially, you know, somebody like Shank that's been around here so long and has, you know, so much knowledge, you know, not only on the field but off the field. There wasn't a high school that I didn't go into in the state of Georgia this last spring where somebody wouldn't ask me about Steve Shankweiler. And so you know the kind of level of respect that he has, not only here but, you know, this side of the country. And it's been awesome. You know, he's seen it, done it all, especially being here at this place. And I'm thankful that Shank's in the building, just so, you know, Blake has somebody else that he can lean on. And that's huge for us. You know, Shank will help us with some of the in-game stuff, just like I said, because he's been around it. He knows it. And he's somebody that we can lean on to help us with a lot of different things.
Temple seems to be playing a lot better. You know, does the film show that too, these last few games defensively?
No, absolutely. It is. They're not a 2-5 team. They're not. And you know, they've played some tough opponents, just like we have. But they're sound, extremely sound in what they do. And obviously, when you've got a former head coach that's their defense coordinator, you know they're going to be extremely detailed. You know they're going to be well coached, and it shows up on tape. They do a really good job. They play really hard. You know, they're just extremely sound, and they don't beat themselves. And when you play somebody like that, that means you got to be extremely detailed in what you do, and make sure we find ways to go attack it the best we can. But you can just watching them on tape. You know, very, very similar to just Army in the sense of they're very, very well coached.